Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another small utility vehicle that's been made so compact they can fit through a standard gate, the small wide gate, or even two standard hangar bay doors if that's what you want to do. So this thing that I'm currently driving is called the Yakko, which is this lovely thing all the way over here, and it's an atmospheric welding ship where if you really want to, with the way it's been set up and you can do it, is replace those welders if you don't want them, put on grinders instead, maybe even put on some drill heads if you want to do it that way, or strap on some guns if you want to use it in combat. But no, it's a welding ship made incredibly small, we've got plenty of thrust all around this thing, we've got plenty of power in the form of batteries, and well, I'm just going to grab on my character and come up to one of these gates over here. So yes, this is what it looks like in a third person view. This thing is incredibly compact. Looking around, there we are. We're just going to come up to this standard gate block from the Frostbite update. At least I think it was the Frostbite update. I don't remember. But yes, coming all the way up to this. It's going to be a little bit tight coming through here, so I might bang into the bottom of this thing. Here we come across, down, through, and there we are. A few sparks along the bottom from where I scraped along it, from being too far down. There we are, that's the standard gate block. They've got the double wide small gates. I'm going to come up to this once again, being very, very careful. And if you're wondering why there's a gun on there, that's because there's animals enabled in this world. I'm going to come forwards, excusing all the sparks coming off this thing. And there we are, we just fit all the way through. Now we come across to this one, which is the double hangar doors, which is extra spicy because we've got two reactors along the top. And I was unsure about this at first, but no, after testing it out, it does fit all the way through here, which is very impressive, but it is incredibly tight. So coming forwards once again, making sure I'm not going to do any damage to the ship or the blocks around me. And lifting up slightly and forwards. Some sparks once again. And there we are. And that's why this vehicle is so great, because you can just have a tiny little entrance to deploy it out of, rather than having a big old door, or instead of having it, say, docked up at the back of the ship, exposed to the elements. Yes, enough of that. What I'm going to do now is bring the free camera all the way over once again. We'll go through the F10 menu, and go from there. So over here in this very wonky state, press the F10, find it in the spawn menu. The Yakko is, if I spell correctly, 150 small blocks using a couple of the DLC packs. We see up to here that this is part of a series where we've got the Wacko and Dot, which is going to be a grinder and then a drill vehicle, both made in the same style, being incredibly compact. Yes, this is a welding repair ship designed with accessibility for engineers who are just starting out and yet looking to retire from hand welding. So we can see it's got one medium cargo tin plus 4 small ones, one large battery plus 15 small, 2 programmable blocks with no script loaded on there, so you can put stuff on there if you want to do that. We've got a vent for a cockpit, so if you're on a planet with oxygen, you won't suffocate while sitting inside. Got work lights, and of course a vent controller for easy docking. Down at the bottom there uses no mods, there's block count once again, and of course is PCU. So giving this thing a thumbs up, we're going to move around towards the very front. Once I level this thing out and face it towards the sunlight, I have to do it like so. That should do quite nicely. We'll go around the outside. I'll just go and play around for it for a bit, and then that'll be that. So that's facing the wrong direction for the sunlight. We're going to be that way. And this is what we get for the very front of the Yakko repair vehicle. So what we can see is our industrial cockpit to drive this thing around, within a bunch of atmospheric thrusters to help slow this thing down. We've got 2 of our standard ones, 3 of our flat atmospheric thrusters, with 1 of the larger ones in the middle. Down below here, we've got some more standard atmospheric thrusters to keep you off the ground, as well as both our fancy welder type 2s from the latest DLC pack. We've got some orange armor panels, we've got some grey barred windows, and all the way down to here, we've got a spotlight that we can turn on to act as our work lights. Move around onto the side, past our welder type 2, here we are. Guess what we can see over here is another atmospheric thruster for your left and right. There's the start of our many batteries around this thing, once again with barred windows in front of them. Up to here looking at atmospheric thruster and how that's been set up. Got another one sitting right on top to help move us down. And all the way over to here, more atmospheric thrusters, a bunch of flat ones, a standard one, gyroscope, and then here's one of your 2 programmable blocks for you to load on whatever you want onto it. Looking around like so. There we are. And all the way across towards the back here. There we go, putting on my light. As you're connected to dock it up, more atmospheric thrusters in the mix of the standard and the flat. There's an antenna to make sure you can always find it. Around to the opposite side with my light turned off. There we are once again, programmable block, atmospheric thrusters, and then a welder type 2. Moving all the way up looking down, there's the top of our industrial cockpit. There's your air vent to suck in oxygen from surrounding areas, so you don't suffocate while sitting inside. A bunch more orange blocks, a bunch more grey barred windows. And down below this thing, there we go. There's the access panel to open up and access the bottom of our cockpit. There's a bunch more atmospheric thrusters. And well, not too much else, but there is our medium cargo container for you to store all the stuff you need to repair whatever you want to repair up inside. And with that, that's basically the outside of the Yakko, and what it is, looks bloody fantastic. It has been designed. A very compact vehicle overall, very nice looking vehicle, and very unique looking vehicle as well. Actually do very well, like it stated on the workshop page, actually where to start off in survival mode, where you want to get rid of your hand tools when welding stuff up. So in the first person view, this is what we get inside the cockpit. Looking down, there's the time of day, looking up and around. There we are, so we've got a very good view all around this thing, although it would be a good idea to have a camera on this, because it would help greatly when trying to fit through very tight areas like the gates over there. But nevertheless, these are the controls we get. So number 1 is if you're connected at the back there to lock and unlock it. Number 2 is the master toggle for all your atmospheric thrusters on and off. 3 is then for your lights around this vehicle, which is your working lights, turn them on off as well. So making it nighttime. There we go. That's simply the glow that comes off this. Turning it off, turning it on. There we are. Brings the light back around once again. That'll do. And yes, we've got board number 5 for your welders to turn them on and off. And of course to activate them, the mouse click. Then got your antenna on and off. Then your batteries to auto or recharge. There we are. And of course if we toggle that, power will turn off. We'll come down to the ground. On tab number 2, we've got nothing else. So it's time to try this thing around, see how it handles, before taking it over to McDowell's, which is sitting in the background there, because it's got a nice lot of unfinished blocks on there to actually test out this vehicle. So here we go into the distance, moving forwards, and that's what we get. So for a smaller repair vehicle, it's got surprising amount of speed behind it, but you could use it, go out about and explore places, and even attach on an auto detect on this, use it to scout ore patches. Left and right, as well as very nice speed with that, moving down to be helped by gravity, moving up as well, very good speed with that, which I suppose we very much warranted. You never know what kind of heavy stuff you're going to be carrying inside yourself to repair up whatever you're repairing up. Then for gyroscope controls, moving around, plenty of control over this. Like I just said, we're going to be filled up with resources at the end of the day, so it's going to change quite a lot, very much like a mining ship post-mining. Yes, at the end of the day, clearly empty, it's perfectly fine, very responsive, and should do well as a small exploration ship if you want to use it as so. What I'm going to do now is come all the way up to McDowell's and start to repair it up, so activating that. Make sure that is turned on. Here we go. And of course, I'm going to turn off that because that's no longer needed. And I believe just come around over to here and start to weld up this section. So looking down, we've got a very clear view at how close we are to the actual building. There we are, now turned on. Moving across. Repairing up all of these curved windows. Down slightly. And around. Of course, we can't actually reach the stuff on the inside. Don't think I can actually force it all the way through to actually reach it as well. We're going to come around and repair up the doorway right here. We should be able to fit, because it is a very small vehicle. Coming all the way up to it. Looking down once again. There we are, there's the window. There's the sliding door. Now we're going to come all the way down. Maybe repair these up. Nope, they're not actually damaged. I thought they were damaged. Around toward the back. Repair where the toilets were. There we go. Because we've got the ladder and the pipe block. All the way up to that. It's not repaired. That's not repaired. All the way down. All the way up. And there is those ones. Those can come down over to here. I don't think that is damaged, but I'll come up to it anyway. There we are. Something in there was damaged. So that's now all repaired up. Round towards the drive-through. And there is that. There's the kitchen block. And there is the window. We are going to bump to the armor panels right next to me, but there's not too much I can actually do about that. Around to here. Going to drive all the way up to it like so. Drive through the drive-through. And there we are, that's been partially repaired up, or at least all the stuff I can reach repaired up. And that's basically it for the Yakko repair vehicle. So what it is, it's just a fantastically designed ship to use in survival mode, if that's what you want to do. I just highly recommend downloading it, checking out yourself, as well as the other vehicles in this series. So it's just very handy things to have tucked away in a large ship, in a large base. You never know when you might need them. So leave a link to the description below to which you download play around yourself. Highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video somewhere soon. Bye bye.